Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Community Foundation of Central Illinois Grants Training Workshop. My name is Amanda Fisk. I'm the Director of Grants and Community Initiatives, and I am very excited to be here with you today. Thank you for taking the time to learn about our spring grants for 2026. Quick overview of today's workshop. We will go over who we are as the Community Foundation, our CFCI grant guidelines, what all is included in our application, key points to remember, and other tips and tricks for the application process, my contact information, and of course, feel free to reach out to me at any time if you have questions on any of this. I'm more than happy to help. So we are the Community Foundation of Central Illinois, or CFCI, as you might hear us say. We were established in 1985 to serve donors with diverse interests at various levels of charitable giving. The phrase that really sums us up is connecting people who care with causes that matter. So we work really closely with donors to bring their philanthropic visions and goals to life. That can be through grants, scholarships, lots of different things. And of course, we are here today to talk specifically about our grant opportunities. So we are going to talk about some of our grant guidelines. These are just the basic things and housekeeping items we're looking for just to make sure you're eligible for our grants. So across all of our grants, we do strive to be focused, strategic, and collaborative. We're always thinking about how we can bring the community together and support our partners and really strengthen the Peoria region as a whole. So these are really the principles we come back to through all of our grant making. In order to be eligible for our grants, you do have to be tax exempt or a 501c3 organization. So, for the most part, we work with a lot of those nonprofit 501c3 organization partners, but we also grant to schools, churches, units of government, things like that. But it is key that you are tax exempt. We are open to new or existing programs. Either one is totally fine. Another key thing here I always want to highlight is that you must serve individuals within a 50-mile radius of Peoria, Illinois. That is our CFCI service area. So everything that we do is within that 50-mile radius of Peoria. So if you are an organization that is based in, say, Chicago, but you have a branch or specific program that operates here in the Peoria area, that would be fine and you would be eligible as well. You also must be current on all grant evaluations. So if you had a grant, if you received a grant in spring 2025, make sure you're getting that final report in by the due date to make sure you're eligible for new funding in 2026. As you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, we support a wide variety of things through our competitive grant making, everything from animal welfare to community improvement to health to human services. I have the arts bolded here because that is what we have available this spring and what we will be talking about here shortly. So art is our focus for right now. A few more of those housekeeping items, some grant guidelines. We are limited in the sense that we cannot support annual or capital campaigns. We cannot support individuals, endowments, or faith-based exclusionary programs. If you are a church and you have something that's open to everybody in the community and there's no religious restrictions or anything like that, that is something that would be eligible and you would be welcome to apply. Touching on our application timelines, applications open 60 days prior to the deadline. All of our spring applications are open right now, so you can start on those whenever you would like. We are not able to accept incomplete or late applications. All of our grants are always due at 5 p.m. on the dot, and just because of our review process and how we process things, we do have to have those in by that time. We're not able to make exceptions, so double check that it's submitted by the deadline, that it says submitted next to your application, and all of those good things. We know you work really hard on these, so we want to make sure they're considered in our review process. So the review process may last 30 to 60 days after the submission deadline. We'll work as quickly as we can to get you your answers, but we do have a review committee that very thoroughly reads through all of your applications and it goes through our board of directors. And then for our spring grants, you would likely hear back from us in early to mid-April, and we'll let you know either way if you did or did not receive a grant. We won't ever leave you hanging with that kind of thing. All right, and then we will dive into the fun stuff here. This is what we have open for spring 2026 and our competitive grant opportunities. So, as I mentioned before, these are both art focused, and we will start with our more broad arts opportunity. So these are our community arts grants. So these began accepting applications in early January, and those applications are due Wednesday, March 4th at 5 p.m. So this supports a wide variety of art programs ranging from arts education, performing arts, to musical and cultural activities, to sculpture and visual fine arts for display, and art therapy initiatives. So whether you're doing a theater camp or you're working on a children's arts program or you're doing an art festival or display or something along those lines, this would probably be a good fit for you. You can apply for up to $10,000, so really great opportunity there. The funding amount we have can vary a little bit from year to year, but just as a point of reference, last year in 2025, we did award over $117,000 to 14 different organizations. And if you're curious about who those organizations are and what that looked like, that information is always available on our website if that's something you want to check out. And then the second grant opportunity we have right now is the Arts Mean Business Fund grant. So this is the same timeline. Applications opened in early January and they will be due Wednesday, March 4th at 5 o'clock p.m. So this was established to support the generation of economic growth in the Peoria region through arts tourism, increased successful arts businesses, greater community participation in the arts, and financial support of the arts from local governments and economic development councils. So again, this is about art, but it's really about art as a platform for community growth and economic development and how we can bring in artists and people from out of town and just share what an amazing community this is. So it's really about art on that greater platform. So the amount for this one also can vary from year to year, but you can apply for up to $25,000 this year. Last year, again, as a point of reference, we awarded $25,000 to one organization, and you're welcome to check that out on our website if you want more information. But really great opportunity there. So a common question I get is, can I apply for both the Community Arts Grant and the Arts Mean Business Fund grant? And the answer to that is yes. I think what people have been most successful with in the past is applying for one specific program for community arts and then another specific program for the Arts Mean Business Fund grant. So kind of tailoring those specific applications to the grant opportunities and kind of making them their own in that way. But yes, you certainly can submit an application for each grant opportunity that we have right now. I do want to highlight though that you could not submit two applications both for community arts. You are limited to just one application per organization per program. All right, and so we are looking ahead to summer and fall 2026 grants. I just wanted to quickly go over these so you have an idea of what else is coming up and what might be a good fit for your organization. So our summer grant opportunity we have is our Emerging Philanthropist Fund grant. This opens April 1st and will be due the second Wednesday in June. So this grant program, you can apply for up to $5,000, and it is for grassroots, innovative, collaborative programs. This is a really great one if you are a newer nonprofit, maybe you're just getting started and you're looking for some support, great opportunity for you. The rest of the grants listed, with the exception of opportunity grants, are considered our fall grants. I know that's a little misleading because they do open in July, but they are our fall grants. And all of those open July 1st and are due the first Wednesday in September. So we have the Local Jobs Fund grant. That's typically about $3,000 you can apply for, and that's all about career and technical education and workforce development. Women's Fund Success Grants, the name is pretty self-explanatory there. These are programs that support women and girls in our community. You can apply for up to $10,000 for a Women's Fund Success Grant. And lastly, we have our Community Needs Grants. These are our largest grants of all. You can apply for $15,000 for community needs. And this is everything from education to human services to healthcare, all of those good things. So that is, again, our largest grant opportunity and a really great fit for a lot of organizations. So definitely keep an eye out for all of those things and more to come as the year progresses. One last thing I wanted to touch on is our opportunity grants. These grants are the only one where they are open all year long. They are not in a specific season or time frame. You can apply anytime. And this is really for when an emergency situation happens and there is a significant disruption to your essential services. The example we always give is if you are a shelter and you have a bed bug outbreak, that really is not good and it's really disruptive to everything you're trying to do. So in that case, you could apply for an opportunity grant that is up to $1,000 to help you in that situation. So, of course, we don't want anything bad to happen to you. But if you do have a flood or something is stolen or something emergency like that, urgent does happen, you would be welcome to apply for an opportunity grant and we will help out however we can. All right, and then jumping way ahead to spring 2027, I did want to touch on a few things here. So, for those of you that have been involved with CFCI for a couple years, you may remember that typically in the spring, in addition to our arts grants, we have also done our Jean M. Legant Animal Welfare grants and our Ackerman Family Learn to Swim Fund grants. So, I wanted to let you know that in 2025, we launched those grants, specifically the Animal Welfare and the Learn to Swim Fund grants, as 2-year grant funding opportunities. So everybody that received that grant in 2025 will receive funding again in 2026, and then we won't start accepting applications again until spring 2027. So unfortunately, if that's what you're looking for at this time, it's not something we will have open in 2026, but we certainly will in 2027. So keep an eye on that in the future. We'll probably continue on that 2-year grant cycle. So more to come, but we are still doing those grants. They're just not currently and actively accepting applications. All right, and then we'll go over some key points to remember. So all grant applications are completed online through the Grant Lifecycle Manager, or GLM, or just the grant portal, as you'll hear me say. Everything kind of lives within this portal. All of your grant agreements, grant applications, final grant reports, everything is there, which makes it really simple and easy. The links to this portal, they are always available on our website. You can always go to the grant seekers and the grant opportunities tabs. Lots of great resources and all the links you will need there. Again, just as a reminder, applications will open 60 days prior to the grant deadlines. Another great resource that's available on our website always is our CFCI Grants Guidelines document. This is kind of everything we've talked about today and more. It lays out our eligibility rules, our grant opportunities, just other basic information like that. So when in doubt, just go to our website, check out this Grants Guidelines document, and of course you can reach out to me as well, but those are very helpful resources. And I'm sure I don't need to tell you this, but it's very important to not wait until the very last minute to submit your application, just in case there's an issue with the portal or your Wi-Fi goes down or whatever it may be. Again, we're not able to be flexible beyond that 5 o'clock deadline. So please, please double check that everything is in and good to go, because we won't be able to accept it if it comes in at a later time. So just get in as early as you can, get those submitted right away, and we'll make sure that your application is considered. And again, if you have questions about creating an account or the portal or a specific question within the application, please let me know and I'm always happy to help. All right, we are going to go over a quick overview of what is in the application itself. It's pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy here. We'll ask for your organization and contact information, amount requested, program information, proposal description, total anticipated individuals served, demographic info, your main goal and objectives. We do require at least one objective, but you can provide up to 3 if that would be helpful in describing your program and what you are trying to accomplish. You will provide your organizational capacity and outcomes, budget information, all the budget information. It's a table that's built directly into the application. There's nothing you need to download separately or anything like that. So you just type directly into there, and then there's a narrative section as well if you need to expand on anything in your budget. Then you will provide additional comments and your certification, and you will be good to go with your application. And I do also want to talk about the grant evaluation process or the final reporting process. So if you receive a CFCI grant, you will be required to do a final report, and that is due within 1 month of grant completion or by the predetermined deadline associated with the grant program. So as soon as you get your award notice about a grant, I will let you know that deadline so you're aware of it moving forward. This final report will be done through the same portal. Formatting wise, it will look very similar to the application, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise there. We do really appreciate you taking the time to complete these grant evaluations. They help us to evaluate the effectiveness of our grant programs, and it guides us just in our future community investments and how we can shape these programs and support our community partners and just the community as a whole moving forward. So we really do appreciate the time you take and the effort you put into those. I will send out reminders as we approach those final report deadlines, but ultimately it is the grantee's responsibility to track, plan for, and submit the appropriate grant evaluations or final reports. And just a reminder that failure to fully complete a grant evaluation can prevent the grantee from future grant consideration. One specific part of that final report I want to talk about is the demographic information section. So, in the application, you will provide some broad demographic information of who you plan to serve, what you're thinking that might look like. But in the final report, we will ask for a more specific breakdown of who you actually served and what communities and populations you were working with. So, just an FYI here that we will ask for the number of individuals served within each category, and that includes age, race and ethnicity, gender, employment status, zip code, disabling conditions, and veteran status. So, of course, if you are doing a project where it's a sculpture downtown or in a public area, we recognize that it would be very difficult to track the demographic data for that. So, in a case like that, we can chat one-on-one and figure out a solution. But in general, these are the things we would ask you to track and then report on in that final report. Okay, now we are going to dive into the portal itself and just go over what that looks like. So anytime you click on a link to the grant portal, you will be brought to this logon page. So of course you can go ahead and log on if you already have an account, or you can create an account. On that right-hand side, you can see some helpful information, some links you can click on for tutorials, things like that if you're needing some additional support. If you think that maybe your organization already has an account or somebody else in your organization has an account or you're just not sure, feel free to reach out and I can do some research and kind of see the best way to go about getting you access to all of that. If you are creating a new account, you'll click Create New Account, and then you will see this screen here. So this is where you put in all of your organization information. Please make sure that you're typing it in correctly and there's no typos. This is the information that our reviewers will see for your organization name, things like that. So make sure it looks good, make sure the address is right. We'll use this to mail you checks sometimes. So really important information here. Also make sure you have your tax ID or your EIN ready to go when you're completing this portion. All right, and then you will be prompted to include your personal information. So whatever contact information you want to provide here is great. And then, of course, you will create your password and you will officially have your account. So once you are in your account, you're logged in, you will be on this applicant dashboard here. So don't worry, the grants on here are not real. This is just an example, so no worries there. But this is essentially where everything lives. You can see all of your historical and your completed grants, those that don't require any action, those that do require action, kind of every phase, every grant you're working on, you'll be able to find it here. On that left-hand side, we have what we call the to-do panel, and these are the things that you need to work on or deadlines that are coming up, things like that. So you could see, oh, I have my final report is due next week. I'm going to make sure to continue that and work on it and have it submitted by the deadline. So for those urgent things that are coming up, always check out the to-do panel so you have those things on your radar. When you're ready to apply, you can click on that apply button towards the top of your screen. There's a big yellow arrow pointing to it right here, which is really nice. So you'll click apply when you are ready to apply for a new grant. All right, you will be brought to our apply page, which does include an eligibility quiz. I know that sounds a little bit scary. Nobody likes a quiz, but don't worry, it's not too bad. On here, you can see the eligibility quiz for opportunity grants. That's a separate thing. But for this one specifically, you would complete the eligibility quiz for our spring 2026 grant applications. You will click continue eligibility, and then you'll just answer a few really short questions just to verify you're in our service area, that you're a 501c3, things like that, just meeting the basic eligibility rules there. So you'll do that, and then if you are determined to be eligible, you will come back to this screen, and now you will see the two grant opportunities that we have available at this time for spring 2026. So you can see the Arts Mean Business Fund grants and our community arts grants. You can see the deadline. You can click see more if you want to read more about those again. You can always click preview if you just want to scroll through the application and kind of see what's included, what that looks like. Always a great option there. And when you are ready to officially get started, you can click the apply button. All right, and here's a glimpse of the application. I won't go through the whole thing. I definitely encourage you to scroll through on your own and just kind of see what all we're asking for and then reach out to me with any questions. But a few things here I wanted to highlight. You can save this as many times as you would like. You don't have to do it all at once. There's a save button at the bottom of the page, so definitely take advantage of that. Kind of in the middle of the page on the right-hand side, there's a button that says question list. You can use this if you want to download the questions and then maybe work on them in a Word document or make notes on them or whatever it may be, and then maybe come back into the application later and copy and paste your answers. That's totally fine, but that's a great option. Also, in the top right-hand side, you'll see the Collaborate button. This is really cool. This is a great opportunity if you have, say, a grant writer or somebody you want to review or proofread your application, but they don't necessarily need to own the application or go through the whole process of creating an account. You can just invite them to be a collaborator. So you'll click on that and you can send them an emailed request to either read or edit or even submit the application and kind of join in your application with you. So that is a great option that lots of people have been taking advantage of. All right, so I will leave my contact information on the screen here. You can always find more information and resources at our website, communityfoundationci.org. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today. Please reach out with questions. I'm always happy to help, and I look forward to seeing your applications for spring 2026. Thanks so much.